Namaste, beloveds. Here I am back again. I just finished a video, and before I watched it on my own, I was watching another channel that I subscribe to, Alchemy In You, and she was speaking of what she was receiving for downloads, and it's so synchronistic. I'll put it that way. Um, she received about diet. I received about the allergic reactions that are going on in this cycle and season, this spring cycle and season. And she brought it home a little bit more closer to me by including diet and including diet in, and I'll put her link in this video, but including the diet as far as an energetic or entity distraction or parasite or attachment, as far as your cravings, as far as your physical cravings for certain foods. And what came up in me after listening to her, I placed some comments in her area, and it was about, again, the seasonal foods and the local foods being instrumental in this, in the time periods and in the healing and in the conscious awareness um, of this time of, and all of this, once again, beloveds, being specifically encoded to the frequency of unconditional love for the self. That is the highest vibration. And becoming more consciously aware of your own unconditional love for yourself is the frequency and vibration that is standing, that that grounds you, okay, that grounds you to that frequency of healing, so that brings you to a space of holy peace, wholeness, whole peace, grace, wisdom, and love. And that's where we want to be. That is the frequency. That is the light frequency that meets the shadow frequency of the brokenness, of the woundedness, of the generational wounds, of the feeling unrooted, upended, kind of free floating around and not home and not grounded. And so that this is the light and the shadow of it all. And we're being shown this in so many ways from so many different, what's called light workers, or what I'm learning are hues of beings. And the variety is unlimited. The number is unknown. The blending of these hues are undeterminable. There's no way to measure them. It is beyond human contemplation of what the blending of these beings that are born and are being born and are here and that are influencing is all about. And when you get into the understanding of space and time, beyond space, beyond time, then you're starting to cook with gas. It is only then that you're starting to understand spiritually. Because everything that is written, that is encoded with space, such as cycles and seasons and frequencies of cycles and seasons are of time. They are measurements of ingredients. But when you get past your need to measure and to do everything by the book and according to the book, then you cook from scratch. As they say, you cook from knowing. You know how much of this to put into something, and that simply by the taste, the smell, the touch, and the observation of it. That is spiritual. That can't be taught. That is known. And that is the difference between being spiritually conscious aware and mentally conscious aware. Mentally conscious aware, you're still looking at the time frames, the snapshots, the images, the sequences of events, the cycles and the seasons. You're still looking for the patterns for it to make sense. But in the spiritual observation, you don't need those filters. You know it's all one. It's all happening at once. And you don't need to stop the freeze frame it here, this year, that moment, that point to coincide it with this point, or measure it or contrast it against that. You see it all. And all of it is one. And that is pretty much what I wanted to speak of, beloveds. It's, like I said, everything right now is just blowing my mind. And when I say blowing my mind, even those words mean I'm expanding my conscious awareness, my spiritual conscious awareness. When my mind is blown up like a balloon, it's expanded. My conscious awareness is expanded. And the more aware, the bigger that balloon gets, the more, let's say, helium is in there. So the lighter it is, the less of Valerie and Valerie's issues and thoughts and thinking is in that. And that's what is left, is able to rise, able to ascend, able to lift completely up and levitate beyond the gravitational field, the laws and physics of this physical body. And so, beloveds, we need to, again, to understand that we are all. And when we begin to connect with that knowing and connect with it in a way of unconditional love, rather than it's a mystery, it's a sacred this, and it's a secret that, and only a few can get it, and only a few are worthy of getting it. And there's a price you have to pay to get it. Existence exists. Know thyself. Don't be afraid to know thyself. If something doesn't, learn to ground. Learn to ground yourself in your self-awareness. Learn to ground yourself in your unconditional love. That is what you ground yourself within. When you say, let me ground myself, what are you grounding yourself in? What are you aware? What are you pulling to you? What are you setting up to hold you or to support you? What does grounding mean? When you ground, what do? Where do you go? When you meditate, what are you meditating about? Is it expansive or is it constrictive? Is it supporting you or is it holding you or encircling you or caging you? What is it all about? What are you asking for? Let me just pause 1 minute because this is relevant. There you go. I wanted to stop to get this card. This card came up in the first reading that I did today. What did I entitle? I entitled it um, Receptivity. Receptivity. That'll bring it up. And it has this picture in it. Has this photo in it. And I didn't know this second video was going to take place, but I'm feeling led. The law of attraction assembles all cooperative relationships. It's number 3. And I want you to think of multiplication. Multiplication is expanding upon consciousness. Consciousness expanded into subconsciousness. Subconscious expands into unconscious. So, or maybe I'm going the wrong way about this. Either way you understand. And okay, Spirit is saying that we incarnate. We are consciousness. We come in through this subconsciousness when we're born. As infants, we're subconscious. And when we learn who we are on earth, we become unconscious in our knowing of self and of everything. And it is from that unconscious state that we have to be reborn. And from the rebirth of it, we go back into the subconscious. And then we go back into the conscious. And that is the birth, death, and rebirth of it all. That is the law of attraction. That is the assemblies of all cooperative relationships. So you are co-opting and being cooperative with your subconscious and your unconscious states into a conscious state. So that's that 1, 2, 3. That's that one attracting, that's that unconscious state attracting the subconscious. The two of them mating and having a baby, which is the conscious. That is the 3. That is the child. That is the son. That is a different ray of light. And that is the light and the darkness that we're dealing with now. We have a light, we have a darkness, and we have a shadow. And that too is part of the seasonal changes and changing. And we see it in everything. So there is this vortex of becoming, a vortex that contains all of the requests, all of the amended requests, each and every detail of each and every asking that has emanated from you. And the law of attraction is responding to that. So, beloveds, when I said, what are you grounding yourself in? You're grounding yourself in what you are consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously asking the universe for. And if you are unclear or if you are in doubt of what you're asking for, let me break it down to you like this. Your mind's eye. Your mind's eye draws to it your thoughts and your feelings, and it brings it to the other side, which is your conscious awareness. Okay? And Spirit is saying, what are you thinking about? What are your repeated thoughts? This is what you're manifesting. This is what you're telling the universe. You're collecting from the universe. And the universe is listening to all of the arguments with, I don't want that, I don't want that, but yet your mind is steady on that. Study on that, study on that. And so you're attracting it when that's not what you want. You want something else, but you don't know how to train your mind on, you don't know how to ground yourself on what you do want. You only know how to hold your conscious awareness on what you don't want. And you let that worry you and cause you all kind of anxieties, consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously. And this causes dis-ease. This causes stress. And this causes self-hate, self-rejection, and self-empowerment. Self-de-empowerment, self-unempowerment. You are taking the power away from yourself. And you're hating yourself because you're attracting all this stuff. And subconsciously and unconsciously, you know who you are. And you know that you're bringing all this stuff to you. And you keep beating yourself up because how many times have you been called wrong? How many times have you been called stupid? How many times have you been called dumb? How many times have you been asked, why do you keep doing that? And you have no answer. You go blank. You don't have to utter one word. Here it is, right here, baby. The law of attraction is responding to that. What is that? That is each and every detail of each and every asking that has emanated from you. The vortex is literally drawing in all things necessary for the completion of every request it contains. The vortex is unlimited. And it does not hold boxes of what you've asked for in one particular lifetime. It does not see or receive things on that linear kind of logical framework that your mind holds things. Spiritual holds things in this circular circle spiral, okay, all at once, from many different angles, from many different shades, from many different frequencies and spectrums, all at once, all occurring at once. And so it's very powerful, beloveds. It is so very powerful to know what you are grounding in, to know yourself, to love yourself. So this is where it comes in to know thyself and to love thyself unconditionally. Because when you do this, you are establishing your foundations in which to ground yourself. You are establishing the pillars that will support you. You are expanding the frequencies and rays of your conscious, unconscious, and subconscious awareness. There's that three multiplying itself and dividing itself and multiplying itself and dividing itself. Those are the ways, the cycles and the seasons. Those are the mirrors, the dualities that come together and separate. I was just told to pull another card, and that card is this card from the Isis Oracle deck. Eye of Horus, Awakening Divine Perception. It's very, 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 very on point with the receptivity. Remember, all of this started with receptivity. And what we're receiving in a circular, seasonal manner. Being able to use those words, to use that lens, that filter, to understand and see the patterns that are taking place, to gain the recognition of the reoccurring, so that we can focus in on what it's communicating to us, to our higher self, to our highest consciousness, that it is expanding within us. We don't want to miss it. So let's look at this card. Eye of Horus, Awakening Divine Perception through Reception. Okay, let's get to it. Let's just see what it has to say. Once again, Eye of Horus, page 58, which is a 14, which is again a 5, which is in the other video. I said it's the 5 of the hands, the 4 digits, and the 1 thumb. 1 points, all the rest of them are back at you. The slap, Will Smith. Eye of Horus, what do we see? What are we receiving? 58. Awakening divine perception. The Eye of Horus brings divine perception, protection, and insight. You are gifted with certain spiritual abilities, including divine sight, that are awakening and growing now. You have much divine support and protection so that you may grow your abilities and serve others with your divine gifts. Trust your perception and know that you are divinely protected. That came up, protection, being divinely protected, came up again in the video that I will be sharing from Alchemy. The Oracle of the Eye of Horus is a stamp of divine encouragement, approval, and protection. If you have been wondering about your divine path, about whether you have genuine gifts of healing and insight to share, about whether your inner perception is actually true insight, and whether you will be protected spiritually in certain matters or situation, then this oracle is confirmation for you. You also have guidance here that your inner sight is expanding yet again, taking a turn on a higher twist of the spiritual, of the spiral of perception. Taking a turn, like I said, blowing me. Taking a turn on a higher twist. On a higher twist of the spiral of perception. The spiral of perception. The Eye of Horus. So, beloveds, heed those 3 signs and symbols and words. Twist, spiral, light, eyes, spiraling light, as eyes spiraling, receiving light and dark rays, receiving rays and filtering the light and the dark. Woo! Okay. And knowing that in all of this, you are protected. Okay, let me just read that again. Trust your perception and know that you are divinely protected. The oracle of the Eye of Horus is a stamp of divine encouragement, approval, and protection. If you have been wondering about your divine path, about whether you have genuine gifts of healing and insight to share, about whether your inner perception is actually true insight, and whether you will be protected spiritually in certain matters or situations, then this oracle is confirmation for you. You also have guidance here that your inner sight is expanding yet again, taking a turn on a higher twist of the spiral of perception. These are the gifts of higher clairvoyance, pure knowing, divination, and divine communion, and they will flow in truth from the fountain of the heart. That is very powerful. That is very powerful, beloveds. Sight, heart, the flow. And again, the whole allergy thing, that's the messing up of the flow. Okay? The congestion of the flow. The freeing of the flow. Wow. Being able to see it from a divine place and understanding what it all is. You can expect these gifts to grow and as a result to see with even more detachment, accuracy, and clear knowing. It is important that you trust this inner sight and come from your heart. This will ensure that your sight is accurate and helpful. Truth. Truth. Trust the truth. Trust the truth that you are a divine being. Let it come. If it needs correction, it will be corrected. But let it come. You are not interpreting it. You are relaying it. You are letting it flow from you. Let it flow from you. And like I said, if it needs redirecting or clarifying, that will come through you as well. And don't worry about how it's received, because those that it is for will be nurtured and nourished by it. You can expect these gifts to grow as a result to see with even more detachment, accuracy, and clear knowing. So you're now becoming more detached, meaning you no longer are in your ego where you have to defend that which you know is coming from you, that which is true. You no longer have to defend the truth. Like a lion, you let the truth loose. You go fight with the truth. You ain't got to fight with me. I ain't going to fight with you. Go fight and wrestle with the truth. Go ahead. Go ahead and see what wins, what comes out on what? On top. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. But I ain't in that fight. That's your fight with truth. You go ahead. It is important that you trust your inner sight and come from your heart. This will ensure that your sight is accurate and helpful. Inner sight will never judge or harm another, but it will certainly help you discern the underlying truth of situations and relationships so that you can make wise decisions. The law of attraction assembles all cooperative relationships. And as I was reading that, I'm old school, beloveds. Thundercats assemble. Bam. Thundercats symbol. And I was just saying that the truth is that lion and let it loose. That cat, that Thundercat. Meow, 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 baby. Let it loose. Oh, this is messing me up in so many ways. I'm trying to stay focused. Okay. Inner sight will never judge or harm another. Hear that. Hear that if you don't hear nothing else about conscious awareness. Real conscious awareness. True conscious, true, real spiritual awareness. Right here. Right here. Inner sight will never judge or harm another. Will never judge or harm. So anytime you're judging and you're cutting somebody down or you're hurting them or you're hurting their feelings, that's your mind. That is not your spirit. That is your mind doing that. That is your lesser self doing that. Those are your lesser colors doing that. Those are your monsters and demons doing that. Those are not your angels and gods fighting that battle. You have unleashed the demons and the monsters to judge and harm. Okay? Law of attraction, that card, that spiral. Bring it all together, baby. Inner sight will never judge or harm another, but it will certainly help you discern the underlying truth of situations and relationships so that you can make wise decisions. And what has been coming up? This war, the relationship with Russia, the relationship with Putin, the relationship with Trump, the relationship with democracy itself as a spirit, as a feminine essence, democracy as a divine feminine principle. Oh, yes, she. Mm-hmm. Democracy gives birth to what? Freedom, liberty. When democracy is chained or subdued, what does she give birth to? Slavery, confusion, chaos, lies. Learn to see, learn to discern, learn the demeanor of those that want to judge and let loose the demons versus those who are detached and observe the truth and the battle of the truth against the lie. Never once for a moment doubting the outcome. Because unconditional love is all, baby. And you can't subtract from it. You can't divide it against itself. You can only expand it. This oracle is confirmation that you have spiritual gifts of healing and perception that can serve your own life path and that of others when you use them for love, from love. Trust that Horus will protect you as you move forward on your path and that opportunities will come at the perfect time. The divine sun will shine on you, gifting you with your time in the sun. So have faith, beloved. This oracle is confirmation that the divine is looking out for you and will guide and protect you through your intuition. This oracle is confirmation that the divine is looking out for you and will guide and protect you through your intuition. Your inner voice will tell you everything you need to know in a timely manner. You got to understand that timely manner. Time is the spiral. Timing is the law of attraction completing itself and from your gratitude. It is the ground from which you grow. So let your grounding be in unconditional love. Not division, not gossip, not doubts, not politics, not powers and principalities. Unconditional love. Period. Finally, this oracle is also an indicator of a triumph over darker energies and emotions. Whether you have been struggling with psychological darkness, unfulfilling habits, patterns of subversive or undermining behaviors within yourself, or from toxic relationship patterns with others, or with organizations or groups within society, know that you will triumph, and the sun, the truth, the light will prevail. Pray for protection, clear insight, and trust your inner guidance. You will triumph in light over any darkness. Your success and growth are assured. And I'm going to read the ritual. It is best to do this ritual either at night or in a room where you can pull down blinds and curtains and create a dark and physical space in which to rest. It doesn't have to be pitch black, but limited lighting will support your ritual process. You will need a small mirror and enough light, perhaps one tea light candle, to be able to just see your reflection. And beloved Spirit is also giving, do this in a tub of water. Do this in a tub of hot water and let there be bathing salts in the water. And the fragrance or whatever of those salts and whatever your own intuition will tell you that. But do this while sitting in water. Okay? Immerse. Let your lower body be immersed in water. Your root be immersed with water. In water. Relax your breathing and go into your heart space. Close your eyes for a moment and say aloud, I call upon those beings that love me unconditionally. I call upon the Eye of Horus, upon divine sight that loves me unconditionally of my own free will. Be with me now. When you are ready, open your eyes with a soft gaze. Don't try to focus, but imagine allowing your eyesight to stay soft, even a little unfocused, by being aware of the peripheries around you. Hear me. The peripheries around you. That means above you, below you, left, right, front, center, back. All peripheries around you. Okay? Hold up the mirror in the darkened space and turn your gaze towards the mirror, looking near it but not directly at it. Imagine that you can sense it with your eyes while softly gazing around the mirror. Allow your gaze to go as soft as possible and let your intention shift to the mirror. Imagine that you can perceive through the mirror as though it reflects you back into your inner vision, deep behind your eyes in the empty, vast space, deep in your own mind. Imagine or intend that the divine inner eye that rests in the forehead, in the center, slightly above the eyebrows, is opening and blinking at you. You may actually perceive the eye or just sense or intend that it opened gently. Stay in your heart and let the gaze be soft. Don't try to focus it to occur, or you will lose your soft focus. You can close your eyes if you need to, but keep your awareness on the mirror, imagining that your inner eye is seeing itself in the mirror you hold. So your inner eye is beholding, observing itself in the mirror. When you are ready, put the mirror down, and either with eyes closed or softly open, whatever feels most comfortable to you, let your attention rest on that inner eye and say, I now trust in Horus, who loves me unconditionally, to gift me with divine sight, with protection divine, and with triumph over darkness. I accept all such help coming from unconditional love now. Imagine that your inner eye can look upwards from inside your head and perceive directly out of the top of your head. It can see, sense, or intend that above your head there is another divine eye. This is the eye of God, and it is pure, strong, and powerful. The pure light of the sun shines out of it, in through the crown of your head towards your inner eye, with a degree of intensity that is perfect for you. Your inner eye becomes bright and clear. When you are ready, either keep your eyes closed or with a soft gaze, gently sweep your hands in front of your forehead and eyes, all the way down the front of your body to your belly, and then up to your heart. Repeat this several times to distribute the energy. When you are done, just open your eyes to a normal gaze slowly, taking a few minutes for your vision to adjust to your new frequencies of inner light. It is not recommended that you do this exercise more than once a week. Beloveds, you were just taught how to distribute and redistribute energy through your third eye all the way to your navel or your belly chakra. How to move it, cleanse it with intention and with clear precision and perception and intention of what you are doing in the name of unconditional love. Incantation of the Eye of Horus. Of the Eye of Horus. This incantation can be repeated several times, gaining speed as you get used to the words. Feel the energy in the words as you speak aloud. You can add it to the end of the ritual above, or if it is not the right time for you to complete the ritual, or you choose a shorter healing process, you can use it on its own at any time. It is most effective if you take 1 minute, 1 moment to be in your heart, perhaps even placing your hand on your heart when repeating the incantation, as it will help you stay in true insight, which always comes from the heart. Eye of Horus, eye of the sun, let my divine vision fully come. I call upon your protection divine. May my gifts awaken in service and shine. Help me see through your eyes so bright. Beloved Horus, Lord of light, I see accurately without distortion or fear. I am gifted with vision, pure and clear. And that is that card, beloveds. And that is most powerful. That is most powerful, beloveds. That is an integration of insights, outsights. That's an integration of conscious awareness, unconscious awareness, and subconscious awareness. That is the blending and the grounding and the merging of those alchemical aspects into one eye, one orb, so to speak. That is what is shown to me. And that is what the intention of everything that I share is about, beloveds. And there will be those that are able to receive it in the spirit of unconditional love, which it is given. And there will be those who will not receive it, who will refuse it, and who will refuse me for it coming through me. And when you come to that kind of energy with unconditional love, detach from it and say, yeah, I see you. Peace and blessings. And move on. Move on. Don't feel that you have to argue. Don't feel that you have to prove anything to anyone. That is, we have spent the mind, that's the ego that says you have to do that. You want to go fight the truth? Go fight the truth. Go ahead. But I'm a representative. I'm a vessel, and I don't get down like that. For me to get down like that is for me to doubt what I'm saying. I don't get down like that. You go ahead. If you don't like what I'm saying, don't be around me. Don't tune on to my channel. Don't go to my page. Don't listen to what's coming out of me. What comes out of me is consistent. What comes out of me is unconditional love, and it is consistent. What I'm saying has not changed from day one that I start saying it, start sharing it. Has not changed. It may have expanded. It may have gotten more professional or used different buzzwords or even created or given birth to different buzzwords that you hear being mimicked like ripples, because that's what it is. It is not about an ego identity. It is about self-awareness as individual and as collective, and your journey through those waters. Okay, beloveds, I did not intend to go this long, but it is what it is. And like I said, these insights, they are free flowing right now. And they are doing this for a reason. And there is an audience that it is to reach, which means there is a hunger and a thirst for the light frequency that is being radiated. And that those who are, sorry, those who are hungering for it, those who are tuning their diets to this kind of light, to the nurturance of this kind of light, to the consummation, to the consuming of this kind of light, to the for it to transmute what has already been swallowed and placed inside the body, for them to infuse it as medicine or as tonic or as a distillation, whatever they need, it is given. It is here. It is coming forth in this cycle and season of spring, of receptivity, reciprocity, reception, and receipts. The truth has receipts. It's a steady pattern that you can see, that you can discern. It's not a mystery. It's not mystical. It's not scientific. You don't need a degree to understand its language. It communicates to you in your own language, heart to heart. Notice those who, as a collective, show you and point you towards those who give off similar rays and frequencies of light, because you need those as well. Don't just consume from one. Consume your light energies from many sources, diverse sources. Light is light. And you will know the truth by the truth. And if it don't feel right, baby, you know that's not the truth. Ain't nobody got to come and tell you nothing. Ain't nobody got to point nothing out to you. Ain't nobody got to dissect nothing. You know. And don't try to question what you know. Don't look for a reason to make it so. What is unseen is presenting itself to you, and you're seeing it. Don't sit there and try to define what it looked like. How you going to describe what is invisible? So knowing, it's an instinct, it's an intuition. It's inside of you. Nothing outside of you can define it or make it make sense. So stop trying to make it make sense. Understand your inside, that eye of Horus that sees from the middle between your two physical eyes, that Heru, that Jesus consciousness, that Christ consciousness, that living light, that first sunlight. Let it guide you. As blind as you want to be, you can still see it. You know it. Identify with it. It is you. You can't separate yourself from it. The darkness cannot separate you from it. Don't believe the darkness. The darkness lies. It's misinformation. Look at what's happening in the world with misinformation, that word itself. The misleading indoctrination, the data dumping of misdirecting someone, little white lies, lying. Look at what it's doing. It's come full. My bones are popping, boy. I'm telling you, I'm just woo right now. Um be aware, beloveds. Observe, and know that everything is synchronized and in synchronistic order, in a synchronistic space and time that it needs to be in order for you to observe and get the knowledge from it, from the most minute particle of it to the most solid mass of it, to the largest, to the micro, from the micro to the mini to the macro. Okay? See it. See it in its divinity. Its divinity is either going to be at a high or a low frequency, but it's divine, baby. And it's serving the divine purpose by choice. Okay? And you follow that choice. And you decide what your frequency is going to be, what frequency you're going to exist as within, as an individual and as a collective. Indivisible, interchangeable. No matter the age, no matter the cycle, no matter the season, no matter the gender, it is what it is. Let that loose. Unleash it. And don't worry about it. I'll say it'll come home wagging its tail behind it when it's ready. Don't worry, it ain't gonna come home till it's ready. And it's done accomplished what it need to accomplish. Let it go. Let it loose. And if somebody wants to argue with you, tell them it is what it is. And you are at peace with that. I'm at peace with it. It is what it is, and I'm at peace with it. Which simply translates, God is good, and God is going to take care of it, and that's that. And that's it. From A to Z, there's an I that observes it, that had no beginning and no ending. Okay? And I may be at this aspect of it, and you may be this aspect of it, and I can't see that aspect over there. I'm just right here. But guess what? It still is what it is. And let go. And let God. Okay? Learn to do that. Learn to do that. And that's coming through right now. And like I said, pay attention to what you're receiving, beloveds. Pay attention to what you're receiving, because you are a sunflower, and you are receiving the rays and the dewdrops, and you are aware of the sun rising and setting in every situation. And that is the truth. And learn to look at things from those lenses, the beginnings and the endings. Something can't be the end without it being a beginning. Somebody can't die without somebody being reborn. And that same thing that is dying, you don't witness it, but at the same moment it's dying, it's being reborn. understand, allow for the higher vibrations and frequencies and spectrums of that which you are to function. Try not to deny them. Try not to be so hung up in, like the card said, what you are unaware of. What things, how did it say it? All the vortex contains all the requests, all the amended requests, each and every detail of each and every asking that has emanated from you. The law of attraction is responding to that. So the very essence of you, in every lifetime, in every rebirth, every male, female, blended gender that you have been, every age, everything that you have asked for, it's in the vortex, and the universe is giving it to you. Ask and you shall receive. Be careful what you ask for. Know what you're asking for. And know that the same thing that you're asking for, be sure to be grounded in it, so that what you're not asking for, the opposite of it, ain't what you're pulling in and getting. Master your desires. Master yourself. Master your thoughts. Master your reasoning. Master your ways. Master your whys. Whens, wheres, whos, whats. Master yourself. I hope, beloveds, that's going to do it. Namaste.